Hello students, this is Mrs. Gregorio, and today we are learning Chapter 1, Lesson 2 on complex fractions and unit rates. Please open your book and follow along with me on page 18. At any point in this video, if you need to pause, stop, or replay, please feel free to do so. Starting on page 18, example 1. Here we have the problem that says simplify 1/4 over 2. In order to understand this problem better, we need to rewrite this problem as a division problem. So I'm going to rewrite 1/4 divided by 2. Please write that down in your work zone on your workbook. Now, in order to understand this problem better, I'm going to start by drawing a picture. Imagine you have a candy bar. This rectangle that I draw will represent a candy bar. And imagine you're sharing this candy bar with 4 equal pieces. Go ahead and draw lines to make 4 equal parts. Now, we have 1/4 of the candy bar to begin with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shade in just 1/4 of the candy bar to represent the part that belongs to me. There's our 1/4. Now, to complete this process, we need to divide it by 2. So to show this on our candy bar picture, I'm going to just cut this in half to create 2 equal groups. Now, if I start with 1/4 of the candy bar in black, and then I take that fourth and I share it with another friend, I've now cut it into 2 equal parts. That means I get one part and my friend will get the other part. When I divide my section, I have 1 over a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total pieces. So 1/4 divided by 2 is 8. This candy bar can help us solve this problem. Now, the next way you can solve this is the traditional algorithm. And the way I solve this traditionally is to rewrite the fraction. 1/4 divided by 2. You may have learned this in years past, but hopefully now you have a better understanding of what it means. When we have 1/4 divided by 2, the traditional algorithm teaches us that we can write 1/4 and keep it the same because that's our total that we're starting with. Now, instead of dividing it by 2, you can multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 2, or 2 over 1, is the opposite. Numerator and denominator are flipped. So now instead of 2 over 1, the reciprocal is 1/2. Now to multiply the two fractions, you just multiply straight across the top. 1 times 1 is still 1. And 4 times 2 is 8. As you can see, for example 1, you get the same answer in our candy bar diagram as you do using the traditional algorithm. Now let's look at example 2. This time it's a little bit different. For example 2, we have 1/2 divided by 1/2. Now let's think about this one a little bit differently. If I have one whole pizza, I'm curious to find out how many times the fraction 1/2 can fit inside of 1/2. So if I cut this pizza in half, how many halves do I have? I have 1/2 here and 1/2 here, which equals 2 halves. Now let me show you using the traditional algorithm. we can start with the fraction 1 whole divided by 1 half. In order to help you multiply across, let's rewrite 1 whole as 1 over 1. Now we can multiply by the reciprocal. Again, instead of division, you can change it to multiplication. And now instead of 1 over 2, you change it to 2 over 1. You multiply straight across. 1 times 2 equals 2. 1 times 1 is equal to 1. Since 2 over 1 is equivalent to 2, we know that our answer is 2. Now, in these two examples, they do not give us any context for them. They simply just tell us to simplify. By adding the candy bar example and my pizza example, I hope that helps you understand the concept in a real life concept or way. Now, for the activity for you, I would like you to try and answer activities A through D on the bottom of page 18. Please remember to show your work. I will be checking your work tomorrow in the margins of your pages, so please show me that you've worked on it. Moving on to example 3. Josiah can jog 1 1/3 miles in 1/4 hour. Josiah can jog 1 1/3 miles in 1/4 hour. Find his average speed in miles per hour. Now, for lesson 1-1, we learned about average speeds and unit rates. Anytime we're comparing speed, we always take the miles and we put it over the number of hours. So using this information, I'm looking at 1 1/3 miles in 1/4 of an hour. I will rewrite it as miles per hour. Remember, the word per means to divide. So we have 1 1/3 miles that he jogged, and it took him 1/4 of an hour. Now, I am not going to draw this in a picture. I am going to go straight to the traditional algorithm since this is a complex fraction. It's a little more complicated. Now, in order to solve this, I would rewrite it as 1 1/3 divided by 1/4. Since 1 1/3 is a mixed number, I'm going to change it to an improper fraction. In order to do that, you take your 3 on the bottom, multiply it by the 1, and then add it to the numerator. So 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 in the numerator is 4, and you keep the same denominator. So 1 1/3 is now 4 over 3. 4/3 divided by 1/4. Now you can continue to solve by multiplying by the reciprocal. Instead of 1 over 4, the reciprocal is the opposite, 4 over 1. Multiply straight across. 4 times 4 is 16. 3 times 1 is 3. 16 over 3. Well, let's figure out our context a little bit better and continue here. 16 divided by 3, well, let's think 3 can go into 16 5 whole times. I'll work it out above here in case you need to see my work. 3 goes into 16 5 times. Subtract 15, and you have 1 left over. Instead of writing a remainder or going to a decimal, we're going to leave it in fraction form. The 1 left over becomes the numerator. The 3 that we're dividing by is the denominator. So we get our answer of 5 1/3. So that means his average speed in miles per hour is 5 1/3 miles for every hour that he jogs. Moving on to example 4. On page 19, example 4 says, Tia is painting her house. She paints 34 and 1/2 square feet in 3/4 of an hour. At this rate, how many square feet can she paint each hour? So we are comparing the amount of square feet per hour. Looking at the word problem, it tells us that she paints 34 and 1/2 square feet. So I'm going to write that as my numerator, square feet. Another way to write square feet is simply abbreviating it like this, feet squared. And it took her 3/4 of an hour. So here we have our square feet per hour. The first thing I need to do is I need to rewrite this complex fraction into a more simple form. So I will rewrite this as 34 and 1/2 divided by 3/4. Before I can divide my fractions, I need to rewrite this mixed number as an improper fraction. Take the denominator 2, multiply it by 34, which is 68, and then add one more on top for your numerator, which gives you 69 over 2. Now we multiply by the reciprocal of 3/4. So the reciprocal of 3/4 is now 4/3. In order to make it a little more simple, we can use a technique called cross simplify. Hopefully you have learned that before, but if not, I will explain it now. If you look at the diagonals of the numerator and the denominator, 4 and 2 are both divisible by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. They cross simplify. Now looking at the other diagonal, 69 and 3 are both divisible by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 69 divided by 3 is 23. Now that I have a simplified form, it is easier to multiply the numerator and then the denominator. 23 times 2 is 46. 1 times 1 is 1. Instead of writing 46 over 1, we can simply answer the question by saying that she paints 46 square feet per 1 hour. At this time, I would like you to try examples E and F on the bottom of page 19. I will be checking this tomorrow in class, so please show your work. If you need to watch any of these examples again, please rewind and play the video again, pause, and be able to work out any of these questions. Now, if you have questions about this lesson, please don't hesitate to ask. Write down your questions, and we will go over them in class tomorrow. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.